Scene Daddy Interviews.
Welcome everyone to Scene Daddy Interviews. My name is Ian, and I'm here live right now in person at the Sinclair with Nick of Bayside. Nick, man, how you doing?
Doing great. A little chilly today. But,
a little bit, right?
I moved to California about 3 years ago, so my blood has thinned and everything is cold to me now.
Right. And now you are from New York, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So that transition, was it quick? Was it tough to get kind of used to that West Coast mentality, the East Coast?
No, because it was not overly hard for me. Due to touring, I've definitely been, obviously, to California a lot, but
right.
I think I was just born pretty chill.
Sure.
I was not born a fast-paced New Yorker.
Okay. All right.
So California always just seemed like somewhere I should be, which is why I tried it out. I got in my car and I was like, New York's always going to be here. If I get in my car, I get to California and my gut tells me no, I'll just drive back, whatever. And then I was fine.
Wow.
Immediately, it was great. Chris already lived out there.
Right.
We started a coffee roasting business. I had other friends out there. I met my girlfriend pretty immedly. We started dating like right away, kind of. Like once we went on our first date out there. So everything just fell into place, and it worked, and I love it now.
Nice. So she wasn't in the picture before?
No.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting. Now, so you and Chris are out in California, and the other guy's in Nashville?
Yep.
Okay. How's that been for you guys? I mean, obviously you're touring around.
Yeah. Thankful for the state of technology. It helps us get ideas for songwriting across. We still, when we are demoing and whatnot, still like to get in a room and play.
Right.
And we do that out at our buddy's studio in California, usually once or twice per record cycle. So we'll throw ideas around so we kind of know the vibes we're getting into, but we'll still spend like a week here and there out in California, kind of secluded in our buddy's home studio, and
very cool.
Just have only Bayside to worry about for that amount of time.
No, that makes total sense. Now, obviously, where people can probably hear a little bit of what's going on outside right now, we're in the back of the Sinclair.
Yep.
So obviously, you guys have been a band for almost 20 years now. You've been to the Sinclair last time you came around.
Yeah.
The whole band was doing the acoustic tour.
Yeah.
So now being back at the Sinclair, being in Boston for so long with all the tours you've done, what was the reason for choosing the Sinclair again?
Well, this is definitely for the size venue it is. It almost comes across as like a venue that should be like 2 or 3 times bigger. It's just very well put together. It is very cool, very hip. There's a lot of times where being in a band, you're like, is what I do even cool? Like, we show up to venues and there's holes in the wall and the shower doesn't work and it smells like shit. It's like, is what I do cool? You know? And then just you show up to somewhere like the Sinclair and you're like, what I do is cool. Thank you.
You go.
Yeah.
I guess it does have, I would say, and maybe you would correct me on this one or not, when I go to the Palladium a lot in Worcester, the ambiance of it is very nice.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, what I do would be cool, but maybe not backstage
is not.
Yeah, exactly.
Backstage feels like I'm in like high school or something.
Yes, right. Yeah, this is definitely a lot different.
Yeah.
So do you, besides Sinclair, do you have any favorite place that you like to play in Boston?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it could get kind of behind the scenes nerdy about it as far as a band standpoint, and playing like House of Blues is obviously nice for amenities in the area you're in.
Yep.
But Paradise is awesome. I'm not sure. I mean, we haven't played Middle East in forever, but that place always was fun. What's the Alston?
Yeah, you had done the Christmas show.
Ferry, right?
Yeah, it used to be Harper's Ferry. Wow, impressive memory. Yeah, now it's Brighton Music Hall.
Brighton Music.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, Boston is one of the special ones for sure. So it seems like no matter where we play, the vibe is always right. And I mean, this Sinclair's for sure like creeping up the list of favorite places to play. It's like I said, you just show up and it's going to be comfortable for us, and it's in a good part of town as far as go get a coffee, get some food.
Right.
It's definitely overall a good day. So I'm happy we get to do. I have been saying I'm interested to see how the Loud show goes because we've only played here for the acoustic thing.
Right.
So we'll see.
Me too. No, that'll be fun. And I got to say, I mean, been a band for a long time. You've been playing Boston for a long time. I've seen you. I think the first time I saw you live was at like a campus music fest or something. It might have been back in 2003.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
I only have been around since 2004.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just the band in general.
Yeah.
But one of the things I definitely wanted to ask, with the old school vibes of Boston,
yeah.
I'm sure you remember, especially being a New Yorker, the Yankees suck chants and stuff like that. Do you miss that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, really, like, all I could really ask for ever in touring and doing basically the same routine every day but in different cities is to feel the vibe of the city.
Right.
So, for instance, Philadelphia was extremely Philadelphia last night because there was at least 3 fights while we played.
Yes, there you go.
And I was just like, all right, fully on brand. I got my Philadelphia experience. So
there you go.
We'll see. I mean, that's really the only thing that helps differentiate every day.
Right.
Everything is the same. It's just like, where could we get coffee today? Where could we eat today? Sound check is here. So really the thing that changes is the people. So I like to be able to feel the intricacies of each city
for sure
via the people.
Right. Absolutely. Was there anything in the past that you miss about shows compared to now?
It's hard to say because I feel like our career as a band for 19 years has really it's always been sort of like a diagonal line up. So there was nothing that we used to do better that I miss as far as like shows didn't used to be better. They're the best they ever are. Okay. Nice. So that's it. Because I go to a lot of shows and I always have gone to a lot of shows. I see how, older crowds act, and I see. Sure. So it's like I can't exactly expect like a room full of like 30-ish-year-old people to have the energy of teenagers, because I don't have that either. Right, when I go to shows, I want to be in the back. I want to be somewhere where it sounds good.
Exactly.
So we'll see. Our shows still can, like I said last night, there was like 3 fights while we played, so it was a rowdy show, but I don't know that I miss anything. I think that I'm happy that we've always had something to strive for as far as getting more popular and achieving more as a band. Right. So, I don't know. Nothing about the past. It all seems like a good step to where we are, but I don't feel like any of it was like quote-unquote glory days or anything like that.
Yeah. That's what I wasn't exactly sure about. Well, what about this? So I get to ask some newer bands this, and they don't really know what I'm talking about. Maybe you will. Do you remember the movie PCU? David Spade and
the
guy from Montana.
No.
What about the whole concept of not wearing the band's T-shirt or merch that you're going to see live?
Yeah. Very interesting because our fans do it a lot.
They do it, yeah. Everyone now does it. I don't think people used to do it as much, and that movie actually has a quote about that. That's why I brought it up. Yeah. But I wasn't sure. How are you? I mean, obviously, bands want to sell their merch. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, we would be not a band if we didn't sell merch. I'll definitely let you know that, especially in our lean years of like kind of out there cutting our teeth. It's like if we didn't sell T-shirts or sell music, like we wouldn't be able to do this at all.
Well, you've always been really good about having unique merch as well. Mm-hmm. Like when I brought up the Christmas show that you did at Bright Music Hall, you had the special, I think it was the poster with the leg from A Christmas Story, and those were all signed. They were really done very well. Is that something you guys really like to put a lot of time into?
Yeah, I've always been kind of in that developmental stage of design and ideas and stuff, and only recently am I even starting to get into design in my own free time. Yeah, I haven't done anything for Bayside yet, but I'm not confident in my skills yet. I'm literally learning some graphic design here and there. But it's always been something where I like that creative aspect of like the aesthetic and the brand kind of thing behind it. So that's something that always excited me. So always had a handful of designers that we go to over the years that we trust with getting our vibe. So I have a good rapport with them about kind of just getting our point across about what kind of band we are and what kind of merch we like. And if I have an idea, I feel like I could suss out with a lot of details what I want. So I'm not really wasting designers' time. Where I'm like, here's a list of 10 things I want. Here's the overall idea. What if you did this? What if you did that? Which I think doesn't waste their time, and they send a draft over, and it's pretty close to what I was looking for. So, yeah, it's fun. It's for sure one of my favorite things about the band.
Oh, that's very cool.
As far as controlling a brand and an aesthetic, and kind of tiptoeing back and forth between what's popular out there, but also like our version of it.
Yes. So. Yeah, I wouldn't say, and I mean, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I wouldn't say that you are followers of trends in any way.
Our fans would, I think our group of fans appreciate us for what we are.
Yes.
So I think it would be pretty transparent if we tried to be anything else than the four of us.
Right. Right. Yeah, if there was a new Bayside album where all of a sudden there were tons of electronics in it or something, I'd be a little surprised.
Yeah.
I would say for sure. So now, obviously, I want to say congrats on the brand new album, Interrobang.
Yeah.
Amazing album once again.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm sure you guys get tons and tons of compliments. But the question I would have for the album in general was there anything majorly different that you did with this one compared to Vacancy, compared to anything in the past?
Yeah, I mean, this one, as far as conceptualizing it in, like, from the beginning, we said, let's write an album worth of songs that we can play all of them live, because we do kind of sometimes just, like, Anthony is really a pop songwriter, and a lot of times he's very good at it, so like it becomes sometimes too poppy and like maybe not in our wheelhouse as far as like keeping all of us creative.
Yes.
We're like, we don't know how to write this kind of music, really. I think we do an okay job of making it a Bayside song, but what we did with this record from the beginning was just say fast, heavy, angry, loud. If the idea isn't one of those or two or three of those things, it's not the right idea.
Okay.
So we kept doing that, and we thankfully picked the right producer, Cameron Webb, who helped us. Like, no matter what we do, there's only so many ideas between the four of us that come out.
Right.
Like, as long as we've played individually together, we're not Mozart. We can only do so much. So where a good producer comes in is not only not stunting that and trying to dumb ideas down, but adding ideas and saying, what if you did this? But that what if idea needs to be Bayside.
Yes.
So that we always kept going back with Cameron. He helped us accentuate the ideas we were going for. We thought we were like, let's get crazy, let's do unexpected stuff that is Bayside.
Yes.
Something that people didn't know we could do, but it is in our Bayside universe. Right. Cameron helped us bring that out and give us new ideas that were Bayside that we didn't know we could do.
Interesting.
And it really worked out. It was, being in the studio is always a frustrating experience. It's hard being in a band when everyone has ideas and settling on what's right or whatever, what's good, what's safe, what's not safe. This one, like I said, we always went back to like angry, fast, loud, heavy. If it's not that, then we're going down the wrong path. So there were a couple of songs where we were like, yeah, this sounds like a song that could have been on like 2 or 3 of our other records, but it shouldn't be on this one. So they never got recorded.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
And then I would say the one song on this record that we were like, should this be on the record, was Heaven.
Okay.
Because that's kind of more of a laid back, like similar to our song Mary on Vacancy.
Sure.
And we were just like, should we try and make this a different vibe? And we were like, nah, it's like our fans can handle it. And if like, I would say 8 of the 10 songs on the record are a vibe, and there's like 2 that are a different vibe, but still good songs. It's like, it's not like those 2 songs that stick out on this record aren't Bayside songs. They could be on any other record. So, I don't know. We had to stay disciplined and kind of just always remind ourselves what we were going for as far as the concept of the record goes. It's great because I think it's much more. We come from a punk and metal background, so when we wrote more songs like that, it was easier for us to have ideas because we have like a library of ideas to pull from. And like I said, when it come to like some poppier songs in the past, it was sometimes a little bit more difficult to make it like sound like Bayside. We tried, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but like it just seemed easier to be in our wheelhouse of like punk and metal to get wild, and it's good. I love it. I do honestly love the record a lot.
Yeah,
it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, I would think that in order to keep your attention and to really go out there every night and really enjoy what you're doing, you got to feel that way.
Yeah, for sure. And like to varying degrees over the years, some songs are better than others, and whatever. It's we always keep our fans in mind when writing. We haven't ever been a band that had reached a level of success or whatever where we could be like, let's just do what we want to do. You know, like let's not worry about the fans. It's never. We always think about our fans and keeping them happy and pushing them with our sound. And I think this is the first real instance. I would say Killing Time maybe was the other instance where we went into like a little bit more of a rock vibe. And I would say this is the ultimate instance of us thinking outside of our own box and just kind of expanding what our box is, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Absolutely. You mentioned conceptualizing what you guys are doing. So did you have everything mostly written when you went in the studio?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. I think only maybe 2 songs weren't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we got pretty in-depth with the demoing. And, a song, I think Prayers might have been the first song that was actually finished. And, besides lyrics and some, like, supplemental melodies, like, the demo version of that song is mostly what you hear today. That one, some songs are easy to write. Yeah. I don't know. Like some songs just work and you're like, yep, that was good. It shouldn't be easy all the time.
Right.
And I feel like, maybe some songs on Vacancy and Cult were like a little too easy that needed a little bit more love. But then you get into something like Prayers and you're just like, that's what that song should be. And it's fucking awesome. So there it is.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, now I know, you've had some different labels in the past. You've still been sticking with Hopeless. So was there a reason of why? Because you guys haven't had a problem with, going to different labels in the past. Was there a reason why you've continued with Hopeless?
There was a time after Vacancy where I think we had a 2-record deal with Hopeless, and we did Cult and Vacancy, and we were starting to kick the tires on doing the acoustic thing, and they were just interested, so we just re-upped with them. They were interested in putting that out. They put out Interrobang, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was another 2-record deal, so it was acoustic and that, so I don't really know. We haven't really spoken about what our record label situation is, but they've been good to us. As far as jumping from label to label, it's like, it's really hard these days. I think 20, 30 years ago when it came to independent labels, you get certain things out of like an Epitaph or certain things out of Jade Tree or whatever. But now I think that it's kind of just one giant scene. So as long as they make their money back, then they'll put it label will put our record out, For sure. It's not really if we could get different things out of different labels, I think we would consider them, but it's all kind of just they give you money, you record, they get their money back, and that's it. Yeah. Maybe, and then it's like literally up to fans buying and streaming a record to whether you continue working on your record with the label. Right. Like if Interrobang wound up having like somewhat of a hit song on it, we would probably start talking to Hopeless about like supporting it more and pushing it a little bit more. But that's really at this point it's up to the listeners to really keep listening to it, but also other people need to find it. Yes. Which if it just stays in the Bayside world and it's like a Bayside hit in our little universe, I'm happy with that. But the only way it's going to move further is if people have never heard our band hear it. Right. And I mean, with these heavier songs, I mean, obviously there's a world of heavy music out there. If somehow we get heard, then maybe our band will grow a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. absolutely. So was it their decision to release the album so quickly after the announcement, or was that you
No,
guys?
Anthony had that idea from the beginning. And I think with our eighth record, and the world being like content driven now, I just didn't none of us really thought we had enough content that people didn't already know about us to string people along for like a 3-month
right.
So we're like, let's just do 2 weeks and keep people excited for 2 weeks. We're not a newer band where we could release interviews or videos. Like, people know what we look like, they know what we're about. We could only do so many videos and photo shoots to provide enough content for that'll excite people, and it just made more sense for us to pull a punk rock Beyonce. We couldn't do it one day before.
Right.
2 weeks before was our version.
It still worked. Now, I say still work, but I guess the question is, do you have any data that's come back to say that actually did work for you?
I don't know. I would say the only thing I kind of look at is our Spotify analytics. I don't even look at Apple because I don't think I have access to that. But I look at our Spotify analytics, and we could just tell. I mean, we base our set a lot off of what people are listening to.
Sure.
So, so I don't know. What I could see, and I keep joking that we have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, from our fans. I haven't seen one bad comment about our record.
That's awesome.
Literally. And that in 2019, where the internet is 80% negativity.
For sure.
It's really wild that our fans like it as much as they do. And they like it for some different reasons and whatever, but I have not seen... It's almost like... if someone didn't like it, they just didn't say anything. Instead of being like, I don't like this, let me tell the world. So, which, the entire internet could learn based off of that, little things.
We could
not every opinion matters, especially if it's a negative one.
Right.
But it feels good. And like I said, it's being a band so long and putting the effort we did into this record and our fans really liking it gives you that sense of hope that you had coming up as a band. Maybe we could grow a little bit. But that's so it's frustrating to know that it's not in your control. What else could we do besides go tour? Right. We could go have the best video that anyone's seen in the last 10 years, and what does it sit on YouTube? Who gives a shit?
Even if people are watching them.
Yeah. It's it's almost like we have to concentrate in an analytic sense on the age group that listens to Bayside,
Okay.
Growing up, or kids growing up right now, there'll be a very small percent of teenage millennials that'll get Bayside. It's almost like those people will have to have an older sibling or parent at this point that would be here, you like The Clash? That's crazy. You like A Day to Remember? That's awesome. Try Bayside, that's the only way I feel at this point we would reach a bigger group of younger kids. So it's something about finding that 25 to 35-year-old age group that we need to infiltrate if we want to grow a little bit at this point.
Would you say that doing the contest for having the local bands open, obviously that helps the local bands themselves, but is that also a way of possibly helping with you to kind of open up their fan base to you as well?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know that I've noticed it on the tour per se. I was always interested to see, once the winners got announced, if whatever friends and family they had were going to buy tickets or whatever. And I don't know. I've noticed that it's more of the winner gets to play in front of our fans as opposed to the winner adding to the show.
Interesting. Okay.
But I mean, it was a literal battle of the bands. It wasn't anyone who had a huge following, really.
Yeah. No, I can understand that.
So whether they get 1,000 votes, it doesn't mean they have 1,000 fans. It's it's whatever. So it's just fun. I mean, really, all we could hope, now that all the voting and all that stuff is done and the winners have been announced, we could hope is that it is a stepping stone, or a step in the right direction, I should say, for the band to be a band.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know there were some issues with, some of the, I don't know, what the behind the scenes stuff that went on. The question would be not necessarily what happened, because I think a lot of people know what happened. The question would be, do you think that soured the whole idea of doing it? Would you try it again with maybe some modifications?
Yeah, I don't know what modifications we could do, because
it'd be tough, right? Yeah.
No one could ever figure out bots,
right.
or VPNs or anything like that. So, I mean, this tour in particular really lends itself to the idea of like a local opener. So I don't know that we would do it again. Maybe like far off in the future.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think the idea in itself was spawned from just an innocent way to, get bands. Like, we could have local openers for every show that, like, basically the promoter picks, you know? Right. And we just wanted to go a couple of steps beyond that.
Yeah.
And be like, maybe it shouldn't be the best local opener in each city. It should be voted on, by people. So we just tried to have, like, an organic approach to that. Battle of the Bands thing. So it was cool. Obviously, it had a little bit of some issues, but talk about our people liking our record and having like 100% likability on the internet. Mm-hmm. The Battle of the Bands was very internet. It was very it got very people cheating, people accusing other people of cheating. It just got very uninnocent.
Yeah. I like that explanation though. It was very internet.
Yeah.
Very internet, that's for sure. Yeah. Now, what I thought was interesting though, especially with that kind of stuff, is that, so I believe tonight Ghost Fame is opening. They're melodic hardcore, and then you've got Capstan, who's going to be playing the second half of this tour, and they're progressive post. I mean, tons of genres in there, but there is that possibility that with those styles of bands that you will get opened up to where it might not be the same as just playing for your fans already, that kind of thing. I think the question would be, where did you guys hook up with Capstan, or how did you guys decide on that?
I'm not actually even 100% sure. I know I could speak for Sincere Engineer. I know that they're opening this East Coast leg, and my friend probably over a year ago just sent me their record and said I would like it.
Oh,
he was right. So and we do now have the same booking agent, so that one was like easy. I'm not sure where Capstan came into play. I think Anthony put them on the second half of the tour, so I'm not 100% sure. But once they were like the kind of front runner for that, I listened to it and it sounded cool. And I don't know. I really do hope. I think in our like songwriting playbook, we have a couple of different styles, so I hope that our fans are like always open to hearing different songs that like aren't, or different styles of music that aren't too far removed from Bayside.
For sure.
So that's it. I mean, I think it's always a balancing act that, like, I always want to introduce people, our fans, to new bands that they should like, because I think it perpetuates our career.
Right.
And just perpetuates the scene. And even just on like my social media or anything like that, or even with friends. I just told you, like, my friend introduced me to Sincere Engineer.
Yeah, right.
I think that it's just so important because there's obviously very little rock and roll radio out there.
Yep.
Spotify does its job, but like Spotify, you have to be looking for new music and accepting to find new music. And then say you find a band, then you have to go look and see if they're coming to your town. You have to buy a ticket. Like, it seems easier and harder than ever somehow simultaneously to find new music and support it. But I just feel like if people don't take the responsibility of finding new music, that this could all go away and get real small real quick. So this Battle of the Bands thing, like, I think I know how it goes as far as we've played in front of thousands of people that before, with bigger bands that we opened for, that nothing happened for us. Like, it's not necessarily like, oh, we just played in front of 1,000 people, we have 1,000 new fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Nope.
So at least this is a stepping stone that maybe the band is just like, that was awesome. We need to strive for that. We need to strive to play in front of 200 people before we're striving to play in front of 1,500 people.
Sure.
Like that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that's what these bands are getting out of it, is at least a bare minimum a good experience.
Right. Absolutely. Let me go back to something that you were just mentioning there too. So, and I don't know if this plays into it as much, but when you go through your discography, really you don't have a lot of features. You know, I Am Avalanche at one point, but that would also be a way of bringing more people in, or, you know, introducing people, however you want to say. Is there a reason why you guys don't do that much?
I'll be honest, I think we just don't think about it.
Oh, okay.
I agree with you. I think it would be just fun to have one on every record.
Sure.
Like, I just think that we don't think about it, and then when we're in the studio, we're like, I think it's too late now. Like, I think that's just kind of us fumbling a little bit.
I gotcha.
It would be cool though, for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be really nice. All right, so we've done, you know, a fair amount of music here.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask, you know, I checked out, I always try and check out who I'm going to be speaking to.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been a Bayside fan since the beginning, but with knowing your personality a little bit, I know you love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I got to ask, so do you have Disney Plus already?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We were off in Baltimore, and we looked up that it was supposed to launch at like 6 a.m. Eastern. So I set my alarm for 6 a.m. Eastern. But we had just we had off, and we went to see Taking Back Sunday play.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So we were hanging out with all of them, and we were in a bar, and it was last call at like 1 something. And then, being a maniac that I am, I just started to like go into iTunes, the App Store, and like just search for Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
And it was there. So I was like, interesting. I'm going to download it.
Sure.
Downloaded it, and, you know, populated with every show and movie that was on Disney Plus. I'm like, this is really interesting because it's supposed to come out at 6 a.m., but it's all right here, and it's like 2 a.m. So we all kind of just rushed back to the hotel and set up a laptop to watch it on the TV. So I would say by like 2:30 a.m. we were watching the Mandalorian.
Oh, you did Mandalorian first.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Worth it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I love it. I mean, I've watched both of the episodes a couple of times each at this point, and yeah, I mean, I am not like a Disney or Star Wars apologist at all. Okay. I know that none of it is perfect. That's what I've, like, people will go and be like, and the original trilogy is like the beacon in the night, the thing that is like untouchable to people, and I'm like, yeah, but if you're really going to complain about the prequels or sequels, but just hold the original trilogy as being perfect, like, I don't think that's fair. I know that the original trilogy literally changed the world.
Yeah,
for the time that it came out. It was revolutionary, absolutely changed the world and how we buy toys, make movies, all this stuff. It changed everything. But you go back, there's no way you could call those perfect movies.
No, absolutely
It's a nostalgic feeling, like, whatever. People don't have reasoning. I get it. But I'm not an apologist. I don't think any of it's perfect, but I love it all for the lore of it and the community behind it.
Yes.
So when Mandalorian came out, I'm like, yeah, people are going to absolutely love this because it is what they're complaining that they want more of.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, it is very set in a specific time that everyone loves. And so far with 2 episodes, it's very male-centric.
Okay.
A lot of complaining about newer Star Wars is that, like, there's, like, the people who are really complaining about it, who are dicks, that it's, like, too female-centric or too...
strange.
I mean, it's just dumb as fuck.
It really
is.
But
too female-centric and too, you know, a lot of diversity. It's like, right now, of course, it's going to be, like, it's great. It's it's great, and already 2 episodes in is like, I had no idea it was going to go in this direction. Okay. It's already very, like, there's already storyline that I'm like, wow, amazing. I can't believe it.
All right.
So, yeah, but I read comments here and there, even though you shouldn't, and, like, it's getting very good comments.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you know what? Because this is what everyone's complaining about, what they want, and it is a very, like, you know, I haven't seen a woman in either episode so far. You know,
that's strange. Okay,
I know there's main characters and stuff that are coming, but I wouldn't put it past Disney and Lucasfilm to say, let's do that for the first 2 episodes to get everyone calmed down and not push the people's buttons that who do think that diversity is, there's too much diversity or too many women.
Sure.
I wouldn't put it past them to like play it safe for the first 2 episodes and be like, here's a bunch of dudes shooting stuff. Are you happy now?
Right.
You know, like that type of thing. So I don't know. That's the overthinker in me when it comes to these things. I listen to, especially when I'm home and I spend a lot of time in the car, I listen to Star Wars podcasts and all of that. So it's I don't know. That's just a viewpoint that I've came up with. I'm like, this is very good, and of course people are going to like it because it is that kind of male-centric,
interesting
gunslinger view so far.
Right. Okay. All right. No, that makes total sense, and I'm glad that you said. I mean, to start off by talking about saying that also you're not a Star Wars apologist. I appreciate that. There's so many people who probably don't even actually like Star Wars that'll complain that Disney ruined it or whatever, and it's just like, man, I'm happy that it's here. I understand. I'm happy they're putting out as much. I honestly wish they were putting out more. Sure.
I understand why they have some cold feet because some stuff hasn't gone right.
Right.
But I think that if you look at the bright side of some things not going right, that they realize that it's not infallible. They realize that they can't just pump out things and expect it to sell because it says Star Wars on it.
Exactly.
So maybe they got to spend a little bit more time sussing out some details here and there. But like I said, I don't think the original trilogy is perfect either. Exactly. If you really want to start poking holes in things,
there's some holes.
Then there's some holes. So I understand the nostalgia behind it, and believe me, I have it also. But I'm happy that they're pumping out more. I wish there was even more than they're pumping out right now, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Right now, obviously, you're probably going to like it no matter what. But the new movie that's coming out in December. Is there anything you specifically think they're going to do to bring around those people that have been complaining so much?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's probably in their best interest to. I know it'll be very fan servicey and tie in very familiar things. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, my hope is that it's both things simultaneously. Okay. I think that there is pressure, but I think that they hopefully strive to push their new story and their new characters along, and then bring along everything that's going to feel good to people. And I think that's probably the goal. So I don't know. I'm trying to not have theories because people have theories, and then when they don't come true,
then you get mad.
There's a negative, angry feeling because you think what you think is right, and they went a different direction, and then you go on the internet and say it sucked because your vision didn't come true. It's like, all right, that's not how movies work.
Very true.
The only thing I really want to see, and I feel like I've chewed everyone's ear off, the only thing I really want to see is some Anakin Skywalker or something or other in the movie. That's the only thing I really want to see. I feel like, and I wouldn't have come to that conclusion unless Palpatine was coming back. I'm like, if you bring back Palpatine, then there has to be an Anakin story in there somewhere.
Do you think there's some element of a time travel or something?
No. Okay. I don't think so. That if you ask me like things I don't want to see, and what's weird because in the animated series Rebels there is a version of time travel, the world between worlds, but I feel like that is even too. They can't lean on like an animated series that the casual Star Wars fan didn't watch.
Right.
But I mean. If they do it, if they want to do it and it's done well, it all has to do with the execution and how it's all done. So if you want to really stoke out like the hardcore Star Wars fans and use something like that, the hardcore Star Wars fans, if it's done well, will love it. But if you want to confuse people or whatever, I don't know. So, time travel in Star Wars could for sure get tricky, and it's almost like they haven't done it yet. They probably shouldn't introduce it in like the final movie.
Final one. Yeah.
It's kind of like just work harder on writing a better story instead of using like a trope like that. So
for sure.
So hopefully they don't, but if they do, hopefully it's done well.
Yeah. Anything else that you are excited about with Disney Plus? Because when I look at it, I look at the old Simpsons episodes, the Ultimate Spider-Man, the old Spider-Man, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything else that you've been excited to check out?
As far as old stuff, I haven't seen Flight of the Navigator since I was a kid. I remember watching that a lot when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to watch that Jeff Goldblum show. That looks cool.
Which one's that one?
The World According to Jeff Goldblum?
That sounds.
I'm not sure of the concept at all. It's on there, right?
Okay. Oh,
yeah. I think it's just a semi-reality show with Jeff Goldblum being himself, which just seems amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, I bought it because basically every movie and animated series is on there as far as Star Wars goes, which it's all been like absent for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's all also in a touring sense. It's all available offline as long as you have Wi-Fi, so that really helps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. I'm looking forward to obviously like 95% of why I want it is for Star Wars content. I know they have 2 other series planned and then 3 others in development. So if this is the future of Star Wars and it's not heavily movie based and it is 2 series a year or something, especially on a week-to-week basis, I'm into that because, like I said, like I really do like the community behind Star Wars. So getting to chat with your friends, getting to listen to podcasts, even though I try not to theorize, I like to come up with ideas that I don't necessarily put stock in. Like Rey could be a clone of Shmi Skywalker. Why not? Here's how it could be. Do I think that's where they're going to go? No, but there was a time where Tusken Raiders kidnapped Anakin's mother.
True.
Maybe the Emperor wanted her DNA, and maybe Rey is Shmi Skywalker.
See, now here's the question.
That's wild, right?
That's wild.
That's wild.
But here's the question then. Why don't you have a Star Wars podcast?
I don't know. Because I tried to. There's plenty of them out there that I listen to that I don't think I could really do anything differently.
Okay.
So I just like to be able to talk. I like to be able to talk to people about things, and I feel like that's what I almost have to thank Disney for, is when they bought Disney and started Force Awakens, like said Force Awakens was coming out. I'm like, okay, so they're gonna do a lot of stuff.
Right.
I'm back. I'm fully back into being invested into Star Wars. I was always half invested the older I got because it just wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for the people who kept it around on like the extremely nerdy like level, because that kept its value up.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to create things like Star Wars Celebration to go and have a community-based thing, you know, and I love that. I think that in my, mid to late 30s now, now I've found that whole Comic-Con and cosplay and like that whole universe, and it's fun. It's really fun to see that there's like a business behind nerdiness, that I don't think I knew was as in depth as it is.
Right, and
I'm not a gamer, so I don't know that part. Right. It's almost like, man, I really actually for the last couple of years last decade or so, really just leaned into that because it brings me joy, it brings me happiness, and it's escapism, and And I think the older you get, you wanna feel that nostalgia, and I think that the healthiest way is to know that you're reaching to the past for something happy, but like in a healthy way. People need to do it.
Right. Yeah. Not trying to recreate it.
Same thing with music too. Like when we're kind of bringing this full circle to Bayside, having our 8th record be so well received is such a good feeling, because I don't want to live on the 2 records that everyone grew up on.
Gotcha.
It's like I understand them and I appreciate that why they are so well liked by people, because they were in that 15 to 20 year old range when they heard it and they were coming up, and that's why I love Bad Religion and the Bouncing Souls and Green Day, because that's what I listened to in my teenage years. But I don't want to ever think that we were a time and place. I want our time and place to be always we're always around.
Right. You got that continuing timeline the same way that Star
and we're
Wars.
lucky enough and made good enough decisions over the years to do that, thankfully.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, I think that was a great place to leave off then.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we could do this again. Look, I should have you on my movie show after the Star Wars one comes out, and then we can just debate that for sure.
I'm in.
All right. Well, that is awesome, man. Once again, I'm a huge fan. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to tonight. So thank you once again. I hope the rest of the tour goes awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've been listening to Scene Daddy Interviews.
Thank you for listening to the Scene Daddy podcast. Just a few quick things. Make sure to check out the links in every interview to support the artist you just heard. And if you liked what you heard, you can support me by following Real Ian Scene, all one word, on social media for all your scene news and hopefully some jokes. Plus, don't forget to follow all of Scene Daddy's social media for all the best memes and catch up on all Scene Daddy interviews and podcasts at scenedaddy.com and all your favorite podcast listening apps. Lastly, don't forget, stay seen.